Pokemon Faint? No, Pokemon Dead. The hard reality of a Pokemon Nuzlocke. Extra rules are you are only allowed to catch the first Pokemon in each area. And you must nickname every Pokemon you catch in order to create a bond with them. You know, in case you kill one of your Pokemon. You just didn't kill the pet rat you caught in Route 1. No, you killed Patty the pet rat. My last attempt at a Nuzlocke went oh so well, which made me want to try this again with the hopes of a better result this time. With the new rule set I'm showing on screen right now, I am going to attempt my second Pokemon Nuzlocke. We've already done this, so speedrun time! Pick the girl, name a grill, with a smiley face, and 2. Choose the best snake boy, I swear I'll take better care of you this time. Fight my friends, name Snivy Steve 2. Go to Route 1, get annoyed by the long tutorial, again catch the pet rat, name him Pink, do some stuff, go to Route 2, catch a Purloin, name him Victor, claim the free monkey, name him Sam Jr., fight the gym trainers without some unfortunate crits, actually level up my Pokemon this time, and fight Chili without any casualties. We all good? Alright then, I can slow down again. Quick side note, I forgot to delete my previous save file and couldn't save unless I did all of that again. So, I just used the emulator save states instead, and which will probably not cause any problems ever. Anyways, after actually managing to keep all my pets safe this time, a scientist comes up to me and asks me to help her get her little pet back. Have you seen my previous video? I couldn't even keep 1 of 4 different Pokemon alive. Now you're asking me to help you keep one alive? This finally opened up a way, however, for me in Dreamyard to catch a Pokemon. But only after encountering dupes for like 10 minutes straight, I just gave up and moved on to Route 3. This is where I caught this Blitzel, named Barnaby. But then the first sad bit happened. A random trainer used Bite, and I wanted to finish up before Bite fully went off, but I was too late. This is how I lost Steve too. So, fun fact, today I learned that Bite does damage based on how much damage you do to it. Why didn't I just spam growth? After me crying in the shower for 3 hours straight, I proceeded to fight off Team Plasma and Wellspring Cave, and shortly after caught this rock and roll and my friend in the call insisted I should call Whim. This was a great catch though. Whim has a great defensive stat. The only downside is, thanks to its naive nature, its special defense goes down. But that's a problem for later. First I went into Necrene City, where I got kidnapped by Sharon to walk 2 meters and then proceeded to go to the second gym. Never mind, N wants to fight first. This is where I made yet another mistake. You see, while fighting his Timber, I got it in red and didn't want him to move first. So I used Quick Attack to make sure I moved first, instead of any other damaging move despite me already being faster. Yeah, Barnaby already died. That was short-lived. Now on to the gym. I evolved both Victor and Pink in the gym and went off to fight Lenora. I killed the Hurdy with ease, but then the Watch Shot came. So, today I also learned that Retaliate does double the damage if a teammate fainted the last turn. And it can crit! I still beat Lenora despite that, but my hopes for the rest of the round did not look good. I finished this day by going ahead of myself and catching Timmy the Time Pole, who I hope would solve some of my worries. A new day, a new adventure. I was hopeful because I had a plan. There are 3 encounters I can still get. Dreamyard, Pinwheel Forest, and Route 4. I had 4 Pokemon in my party at this point, so that would mean that I could have a full party for Burke. Going back to Dreamyard, in the rustling grass, I found this Aldino called Arduino. After that, I wanted to go into Pinwheel Forest, but my friends in the call called me a wuss for avoiding trainer battles, so I gave in to peer pressure. All the fights went well, until I encountered my worst nightmare. Preschooler Juliet. She opened with Cottony. Shouldn't be a threat depending on the moveset. The only Pokemon in my team that was safe to use was Arduino because she doesn't die when touching grass. The first move. The Cottony opened up with Leech Seed. Arduino damaged it, but it healed back some. It then used Growth, the second move, buffing both its attack and its special attack. Here I just spent Growth, setting up a scary future for me. Once I got it in red, it healed back some more, and then the third move, Stun Spore. It was now a matter if Arduino would succumb to the paralysis. The hits got through, but it wasn't enough. Just 1 more hit. If this keeps up, then this Cottony fully heals and I'm back to square 1. I can keep this up as long as Cottony's final move isn't damaging. I thought I was safe for a bit, but then the final move. Mega Drain. This was turning into a battle of survival. This scary cauliflower is so strong thanks to the growths, and my potions are running out. In the end, I finally made it. Moment of relief. But then, there was a Petalil with the exact same moveset. The same cycle continued, until I finally ran out of potions and Arduino died. I had to switch to Sam Jr. Luckily for me, Sam was faster. One crunch. Luckily a crit. Took out the Petalil. And I was finally saved from this monster of a toddler. With a sad morning feeling and again lost motivation, I went into Pinwheel Forest. Before I could fight off Team Plasma, I had to battle 2 preschoolers and... it's grass types again? Luckily, Wim got his physical defense up so he could tank a lot of hits, but sadly... damn, it's getting crowded in here. Almost like a party is going on. I then got Cory the Cottony, and when I looked at his moveset, I noticed some similarities with someone I fought earlier. This was a real moral dilemma. Am I really going to get down to a level of these cheese strategies? Just to survive some moment? Yes! I currently have 3 freaking Pokemon in my party and there's 6 more gyms I need to beat. After somehow beating Team Plasma, I ran straight through Castelia City to catch Teemo the Sandile on Route 4. Now it was finally time for the gym. Bug type. Wim should do good, but can he survive Berkeley Vanny? Wim evolved into Boldor while battling the trainers there, but when it was time to fight off Burke, I started to get scared. I know Rock is strong against bug types, but what if he couldn't tank the Levanny's Razor Leaf? Oh yeah, it's a physical attack. So I beat Burke and his army of bugs, and my hopes of beating this run was finally coming back. After that little ego boost and praising Wim for being one of the MVPs in the team, I went on to Route 4. There I beat up my 2 friends, made a quick detour to Desert Resort to catch Daniel the Dwebble, evolved Timmy into a Palpitoad and finally stepped foot into Nimbasa City. I explored the city for a bit for that nostalgia boost and then went on to Route 5 to finally get a full party. Okay, never mind, Bianca's interrupted me and now I am participating in a musical. And look, Wim can do a flip! After that I witnessed some family drama and finally went to Route 5 to catch this Minchino that I really wanted to call. Okay, apparently you're now called Mimi. Now that I finally had an actual full team, I just had to go on a date with Anne first before I fought Elisa and then... So, with this almost full party, I went to Elisa. Since Teemo kinda died right before the gym, I had to fully rely on Timmy. To make sure Timmy wouldn't die, I gave him the Eviolite to be able to tank a lot of hits. After sweeping all the trainers and doing some fun rollercoaster rides, whee! I went to challenge Best Girl Elisa. The only thing that scared me a bit was Elisa's Substrika. Even though Timmy is resistant against fire, the Substrika's Fire Blast caused me problems when I was younger. So, I was hoping it wouldn't do much this time. So, I learned something about AI today. If it can physically use a move, and has a move that is double weak to you, it uses the only other damaging move, which is Quick Attack. And I have an Eviolite. Gym Badge 4 acquired! So, after that cheerful moment, I wanted yet another Pokemon to fill in the spot that so mysteriously disappeared. Thankfully, I can reach Route 16 from Nimbasa City. But there I needed to make my most calculated move in history. My options for an encounter in this route are Liepard, Trubbish, Minchino and Gothita in normal grass. Then we have Darkness at the exact same encounters. Due to dupe slots, I can't catch Liepard or Minchino, which means I'm giving myself a 50-50 chance of either catching Gothita or Trubbish. From these two, I'd much rather want Gothita, seeing as the Elite Four has a fighting type trainer. Now we also have the Rustling grass, which can give me either Audino, Chinchino or Emolga. This is where I'm starting to have doubts, because Skyla sooner or later will be scary against Wind because of its water typing. This means an electric type might be good, but there is also Chargestone Cave later with a small chance to give me a better electric type than Emolga. Should I go for the Elite Four preparation or should I go for the secure electric type to at least have something for Skyla? While thinking of that little dilemma, I went ahead of myself for another free encounter in Lost Known Forest and I found the Swatloon with a totally normal nickname. Then I went back to Route 16 where I made my choice to chance the Gothita, I think. But if I encounter Trubbish instead of Gothita, I'm pretty much screwed and the Emolga can still prove its use to defeat Skyla with his electric. Luck was on my side for once and gave me Gothita, and because this is the God Pokemon, I of course gave her a fitting name. Now stay safe until I need you. After a quick detour to give Slay Queen a massage to improve friendship, I actually went on with the game and fought Sharon. I then got to meet the Unova champion himself, Alder. And now we had to beat up children in front of him. Thank God Elisa interrupted that conversation and opened the bridge where I caught this ducklet that I named Lemonade because a duck walks up to a lemonade stand. I then entered the awesome music of Driftville City. There I met Clay, who just introduced himself, and then I took a small break and forgot to press record again when going into cold storage, where I beat up Team Plasma and collect Timber that I now called Olaf. After that I remembered to press record again before challenging Clay, where I had some close calls, but despite that I managed to beat him without any casualties. With 5 badges in my hand and some spare Pokemon, I went ahead on my journey. First, I needed to do some errands to befriend Slay Queen a bit more and evolve him into a Leavenny. Then I went on to Route 6, but not until Bianca interrupted me for yet another battle. I then found a deerling that I called Charles and went on to Charstone Cave where Clay had to open it away for me. There, I encountered a Kling, but it just wouldn't listen to Mimi sing, so in a moment of frustration, I switched to Olaf to lower its HP and forgot fighting was strong against steel. So, no encounter in this cave. Also, while walking through Chargestone, there was this one long battle between Wim and another boulder, and I thought it was too funny to not include. After walking for a bit, I needed to beat up Team Plasma again and have another battle with M. Nope, I'm not doing that again. I then walked into Mistralton City where I was told to immediately go to Celestial Tower. Before I did that, I had a quick time travel moment to another season so I could catch this Sneasel. After then traveling back through time, I had a quick rotation battle with this trainer where I swapped Mimi in and... After that stupid play, I put Lemonade in my team and went on to that cursed tower. There, not much happened except for me catching this Litwick called Lumiere. I then went to the safest gym in Unova and Jan and Skyla. This battle started out good with Wim bracing his defenses and one-shotting the Swoobat. Skyla then threw in her Swanna, which Wim should not try to handle. For this, I had Lemonade ready to see who's the more lucky Swanna. We exchanged air slashes, both hit. I did less damage. We then exchanged more air slashes, which Lemonade managed to dodge. One last air slash exchange and Lemonade barely survived, but Skyla's Swanna died. I then switched back to Wim to clean up the unpheasant and won the battle. Before I went on with my adventure, I had a side quest to do. First, I wanted to evolve Wim into a Gigalith, and here is where I encountered my foreshadow problem. So, both Wim and Olaf evolve by trading, which is possible using emulators. But my problem was mostly that the game requires you to save before trading, which I can't, because there's still my failed attempt there. I'll use Wim with the Eviolite and switch him before the Elite Four. Then I realized that I could still get a free encounter in Relic Castle where I got this Jim Carries the Mask. I then wanted to quickly acquire Surf so I can just open up a few encounters, but I had to battle Charon first where my only ace against Drayden died.
What the fuck?
I then actually got Surf and went on with my side quest. First step was in Mistralton Cave where I waited for a dust cloud so I could catch Rudolph the Drillbur, who will help a lot in this run. The other was this little pond in Striaton City where I could now catch this fish that everyone knows is called Magikarp. After that little adventure, I proceeded to go to Twist Mountain where I caught this Woobat with a normal nickname, walked past a murderer and continued to Icarus City. There I danced with the inhabitants and immediately time traveled again to Winter to catch an ice type that I can later use for trading. Then I went for a quick surf to catch Jerry the Stunfisk, that is probably my most useless catch. The next gym is Ice type, which most of my team doesn't handle well. So here's the temporary team for the gym. Lumiere for the melts, Olaf for the ice breaks, Jim Carrey, just in case, Urubat as last resort, and Magikarp and Jerry as sacrifices. My plan was to sweep with Lumiere, but Bryson's Beartic knows Brian, which is a water type move. So I needed the sacrifices for the clean switch to Olaf. The trainers in the gym went as you might expect. Lumiere burned everyone to death and Jim Carrey evolved. It was then time for Bryson. He opened up with Vandalish, which Lumiere melted. Then he switched to the feared Beartic. As planned, I switched to Jerry, and as a joke I decided to use Camouflage to change him into a normal type. But even when he was still half ground, he managed to tank a hit from the Beartic. After he was normal type, he could still tank another hit, so I just healed him and somehow managed to kill Beartic with him? Bryson then threw out Prialkanal and Cherry was still able to tank hits and finish him off. Never underestimate a Stunfisk apparently. Well, that's 7 batches down, 1 more to go. So immediately after that gym, I was told to go to Dragon Spiral Tower to beat up Team Plasma and see and get a free Zekrom. In the meantime, both Rudolph and Lumiere evolved, and then Lumiere evolved the second time because I had a Dust Stone. After that, Alder told me to do a quick fetch quest in Relic Castle, but not until I used my Route 8 encounter to catch a Shelmet that I call... No wait, I need another name. Yeah, that's better. I then went to Relic Castle where plot happened, claimed my Plume Fossil, went to get the Lightstone from Lenora, and revived my Plume Fossil into Body. Then the game allowed me to continue, so I went back to Route 8 where, right before I went on the bridge, Bianca stopped me one last time to battle again. But then... oh crap, I thought Corey would die there. Oh. That was actually a sad death. Even though Corey was usually sitting in the sidelines for the gyms, he was still useful in rival and trainer battles. I'm gonna miss the little thing. But I couldn't cry yet. I had to beat Bianca first. Timmy took this one over to deal the final blow to Semerald, and I was free once again. I then went on my way to Upper City. After the bridge in Route 9, I caught the Spaniard. One friend wanted to call him Jojo, the other friend wanted to call him Dio. So, meet Dio. After entering Upper City, I quickly went on to Route 10 to catch his Pokémon who shall not be named and gave him an unfunny nickname. I then replaced Corey with Slay Queen and put Vianetta in my party for the final gym. There, Vianetta knew how to one-shot a lot of dragons except for the Draudagons. But she still made her way through. When I got to Drayden, I wanted to set up a bit first. I first tunneled the Fracture so it couldn't stack Dragon Dances. Then I set up Hill for the ability Ice Body. After one-shotting the Fracture, Draudicon came in. Here I got a little bit cocky and lost Vianetta, so I had to improvise. I had Jim kill the Draudicon and somehow he managed to also kill the Hexorus, which gave me the final gym. After that last gym, I went on to Route 10. I avoided most trainers here to not make some last minute unfortunate losses. Fought Charon for the last time using Timmy to kill his Ambor, said goodbye to my friends, and went back to the Pokemon Center for a quick heal. When I went back, I accidentally made eye contact with this one trainer and Timmy the Seismitoad died. This was my biggest loss yet. But I cannot give up. I am so close to the end after all. So I will beat this Elite Four. I will beat this game. For Timmy. For Corey. For all the fallen soldiers. I will win this run without any mistakes. I entered the first check. The trio badge. No losses were made here. Just fix free for this one. Second check. Basic badge. My lowest point that left me with only 2 Pokemon. Third badge. Insect badge. Here's where my hopes started to rise again. Fourth badge. The Bolt badge. The gym that got completely carried by Timmy. Fifth badge. Quake badge. The place where I, despite some close calls, still won. Sixth badge. Jet badge. Where Lemonade got really lucky. Seventh badge. Freeze badge. Where Jerry managed to prove himself. 8th badge, Legend badge, where my cockiness almost lost the gym, but I still managed to get by. I made my way through the last bit of Victory Road and got to the final destination of the game, the Pokémon League. It was finally time, the Pokémon League. First I needed to set up my team. This team consisted of Slay Queen, Rudolph, Jojo, Hot Topic, Jim Carrey and Poddy. I quickly thought of some kind of plan and went on to fight the Elite Four. But first, I needed to quickly prepare myself.
God, I love cat voice.
Marshall was up first. Hot Topic set up a future side against Throw and took it out with Psychic. Then Marshall switched to Minshow. I switched to Jim to tank a U-turn which switched out to Stalk and then he took the future side. Sturdy kicked in and I switched back to Hot Topic to take him out. Same U-turn strat happened with Minshow again. Then Jim burned the Conqueror with Will-O-Wisp. Hot Topic then set up a future side and took the Conqueror out with Psychic. Minshow was thrown in again. Jim tanked the hit and the future side took it out. Next up was Caitlyn. I opened up with Slay Queen who Sword Dance and X-Scissor to take out the Rudiclus. I then switched out to Hot Topic to get a Shadow Ball on the Sigalith, sacrificed her in the meantime to heal Slay Queen again. Then meant a clean switch to Poddy who took it out with Rock Slide. Next up was Gothitelle. Slay Queen took her out together with the Musharna and I beat Caitlyn as well. Then there was Grimsley. Patty immediately took out the Scrafty with 1 Acrobatics. I then switched to Rudolph for the Bisharp and took him out with 1 Earthquake. I switched back to Patty for the Crocodile and took him out with 2 Acrobatics. Last was Lightpart who got taken out by Jojo who immediately evolved afterwards. Last was Chantal. Jojo immediately took out the Cofagrigus with a Crit Night Slash. I then switched to Slay Queen to take out the Golurk with a buff Leaf Blade. Next up, Patty had to tank the Chandelure and take him out with a Rock Slide. Jellicent last. Went back to Jojo to take that one out and beat the entire Elite Four. After that, some blood happened with Ann and Alder. The Team Plasma Castle rose up. All the gym leaders did something useful for once and I was able to pick my team for the final 2 battles. Rudolph, Lumiere, Sus, Potty, Lemonade, and Jerry, who deserves the final walk before he gets replaced by Reshiram. I walked up to the final room, catched Reshiram, called him Arceus, and went on to challenge N. He opened up with Zekrom. The game forced me to start with Arceus. I immediately switched to Rudolph, who took out the Zekrom with an Earthquake. Next was seemingly Klinklang, but I assumed it was a Zoroark, so I switched to Arceus, who revealed him and took him out. After that, Caracosta. I switched into Sus, who somehow dodged the Stone Edge. He Giga Drained the Caracosta to death, and next was the Vanilluxe. It was now Lumiere's turn to take this one out. Next was the Arceus. I switched into Rudolph. One Rock Slide was enough, so 2 did the job. And last was the Klinklang, for who I switched to Lumiere to take him out with Flame Burst. And was defeated. Just one more battle left. Getsis. I took a deep breath and started the battle. Kofa-Krigus. Arceus managed to bait out a full restore and fully took out Kofa-Krigus first. Bouffalant. Arceus took him out as well, no problem. Seismitoad. I switched to Sus for this one, who took him out with 1 Giga Drain. Hydreigon. Okay, I gotta admit, I am not proud of how I managed this one. But Sus used Toxic and I basically heal stalled until I thought it was enough and let Sus die. I switched to Arceus, who died from a Dragon Pulse, but the poison took out the Hydreigon. I didn't know what Pokemon was coming up next, so I put in Body while Getsis chose Bisharp. I tried Bulldoze, which didn't do enough, and Body died to 1 Stone Edge. I switched to Lumiere, who took out the Bisharp with a Flame Burst. Last was Electros. This was the final battle, and I did not want to take any risks, so I used Will-O-Wisp with Lumiere to start getting in some chip damage. That reduced Electros' damage and let Lumiere survive a few crunches. He then took out Electros with not a lot of HP left. That was how I finally defeated this final battle. I said my last goodbyes to N, and officially concluded my first second Nuzlocke. Thanks for watching.